Wait, what's going on YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. It's been a while since I did a good cooking video, so I figured I'm cooking. Why not do a cooking video? So this is pretty simple. All you need is a pan and a pot. Pan with nothing in it right now, and it's on very, very, very low simmer, just warming up the pan, and a pot with water to boil. So this is what I'm doing. I am taking some fettuccine. I'm going to break them in half so they're not so long, and I'm going to put it into the water once it boils. That's it. Then I just let those cook for 15 minutes. In the pan that is simmering, I have to put in a few things, and one of them I did not take out yet, and here it is. So I'm going to use some Italian style white clam sauce. It's got some little clam bits already in it, so you don't need to add clam. But I am adding some lump crab meat. I am adding some mushroom, and I am adding some langostino wild lobster, which they're not really lobster, it's more like crawdad tails, but that's what they're called. So langostino lobster is basically crawdad. So what I'm going to do is I want to take all the water out of my proteins. So I'm going to open up the little lobster. It's hard in New England when you are talking about lobster, and this is the lobster you have. But these are really good and dirt cheap, and it is a great alternative to regular lobster, because regular lobster is super pricey. So if you can get those way cheaper, it's better to do those. I'm putting everything, including the mushrooms, in there, so I'm letting all the liquid from everything drain straight through, and I'm just emptying the can there. Then I have to get out the can opener for the other stuff. So what I did is I emptied most of the water out of the mushrooms before I actually opened the can up. That way I don't over empower my little lobsters with all this mushroom juice. Even though it's all going to end up in the same pan, it doesn't matter. So literally all I'm doing is shaking. You can see the water falling out. That's it. Next is the lump crab meat, and all I'm doing is opening that up, and we will get that done. Old school kids, this is called a can opener. You don't put it in a machine. It does the work for you. There goes the water. Just draining as much as possible before I throw the crab meat on there. Just makes it easier to sift through. You know, instead of pouring a bunch of water on the meat you already have in there, might as well cut it in half. So I got crab meat, and I have lobster meat and mushrooms. Pretty simple so far. It's literally, this is going to be really easy and really good. It's one of those anyone can do it type things. And if you don't like clam sauce and you don't like seafood, make something else. So I have plenty of choices. Go into my playlists, and you will see a playlist for good eats. So I'm just going to finish shaking the water out of here, and then I'm going to put the clam sauce into the pan, and this into the clam sauce. And you don't really cook it. I'm going to cook down the clam sauce first before I do that. Just thought of that. I want to let that simmer and do really good before I add this, because all these proteins and everything, it's already pre-cooked. So I don't really need to add a bunch of that. Got an unknown call coming through. I don't know who it is. I'm not going to answer. All right, so taking my clam sauce, and I'm going to pour it right into the skillet that is slightly warm already, and you can literally see all the clam bits that are in there and all the Italian seasoning. It's looking mighty nice already before I even do anything. So you can see that's that. Just let it simmer. The water is at a slow boil right now, so I can break apart my my pasta. This is so simple. How much do I want to put in? I guess I'll make a lot of it. Maybe all of it. I'll cook all of it because I don't care. It's just me. All right, so basically I'm just taking my pasta, double fisting it, and I'm breaking down toward the pot. That way when things fly off, they fly directly into the pot. Get the rest of my noodles out of there. And I'm gonna have a ton of pasta there. So that's it. So basically with the pasta, all you have to do is let it cook until it's soft enough to how you like it. That's literally it. It takes about 15 minutes. So you put that in, and every now and then you kind of just move it around with a fork so you can make sure nothing's sticking. That's it. So far, everything in this entire meal is almost done. Ta-da! It's super simple. Once I start getting some good heat going on in my clam sauce, then I'll add the proteins with the mushrooms, and I'll show you. All right, so while that's boiling and while my clam sauce is heating up, there's only one other ingredient, or kind of two, that you're going to need. One, grated Parmesan cheese. That's for when it's completely done and plated. Boom, 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 a little cheese on top. And the other thing is a zero sugar Canada Dry. Let me show you what this is for. First, you got to crack it open. Well, I'm just going to drink it. All right, so I'm starting to see a little bit of steam coming off of my my clam sauce. So that means it's not hot because it's not boiling, but now it's nice and warm and toasty. So I'm going to just add my proteins, my lobster, my crab, and my mushroom straight into the mix, and then, well, straight up mix. So that's it. I just want to get it all in there. Figure if you're going to pay for it, you might as well use it, right? So get it all in there, and now you have a happy little mixture getting ready to go. So rinse that out real quick. If you do a little cleaning while you go, it makes it a lot easier at the end, especially when you barely have any cleaning to do. I have a strainer, a pot, and a pan. Okay, and then I'll use a dish. That was rough. So that's it. So now I'm literally just going to saturate my meats inside this clam sauce, and it goes from just a liquid sauce to almost like a big old, like a goulash type thing, because now it is super, super packed in there. And that looks really, really nice. That's going to sit well on top of that pasta. And now what I just do is let it sit there on an extremely low heat. See that? Just letting it simmer. So I'm just going to let it sit there and stay warm. And that's all I really need to do. Now, right before it's done, what I will do is, if it hasn't already reached that point, I will raise up the heat just a little bit just to get it to a tiny boil. That's it. And then once it hits that mark, it's done. All right? So now, just got to finish my noodles. All right, so people always ask me when I'm doing stuff like this, they say, how do you know when your noodles are done? Simple answer is, don't be stupid. Just test one. All you have to do is reach in, grab a noodle, bite one end. It's not done yet. If you can't do that, get out of the damn kitchen. All right, so I have about a minute left on my pasta. That's it. It's pretty much done. So what I did is I raised the heat just a little bit on my my little goulash there. And now I'm going to let that finish by just barely start to boil, just start to bubble just a little bit. And it shouldn't take long because it's been simmering this entire time. It should go pretty quick. These noodles are pretty good. There's another way you could tell if your noodles are done you'll see when they go in, they're kind of dark. And then eventually what will happen is the edges will turn like a lighter yellow, almost like a pale. And then when you see the centers turn pale, now you know when to taste it. If you're tasting it while it's still dark, or while you have light edges and dark middle, you're going to be tasting an undone noodle. So it's a good way to tell. Hold on. All right, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So you can see it's just starting to bubble, but it's not going crazy. That means turn off the heat. That's done. This is done. I'm about to pull it out, and you can see how lovely and pale those noodles are. That's exactly how you want them. Now I just turn off the heat, get the strainer, and push a rag into the water that I didn't want to push into the water. And now all I'm doing is taking the water straight out of the noodle, out of the pasta. And you don't have to use this pasta. You can use anything you want. I'm just good at this, so I know it works really good. So maybe use this noodle. But yeah, so this is good. The fettuccine noodles are really, really well. So now I'm going to get out the remaining noodles that are in there. There's only a couple, but I don't like to leave them in there because then they get stuck to the pan and it's just a pain in the nuggets to clean. So I figure get them out in real time. Less hassle later on. I got one more in there. There's no easy trick to that. Unless you just want to reach in and grab them. And I'm just going to reach in and grab it. Burn the snot out of myself. Ta-da! Alright, so now that's it. All the water is out. And don't forget to get yourself a nice deep Star Wars bowl. And you're going to pour your noodles right into that bowl. Hopefully there's not too many in here and it'll still work without overflowing. It's probably going to overflow. If you have that problem, remove some of the noodles or just get yourself a bigger bowl. I don't care. All right, so next is the final step pretty much is just adding that stuff to this stuff. So what I need is a slotted spoon, kind of like this guy right here, boop, to get out first the proteins. I want to make sure I free all those up. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Why use a slotted spoon? Because it helps keep from pushing all your liquid over the edge and making a mess, because it filters through. You know what I mean? There's no, with a full spoon, what's going to happen is you have a barrier there and everything's just going to push. So it's just convenience. There's no real science to that. Well, I guess it is a science. So once I get all this out of there, then I'm just going to pour some of the liquid straight over so my noodles get completely saturated. This smells. I wish I could put the smell through the thing. It smells amazing. All right, so I'm almost at a point where I have a lot of that done. So now I'm just going to turn this over. And I know this is the worst part of the video, just watching this, but I just want to get it all out there. Again, you pay for it all, you might as well use it all. And that looks like it's pretty good. Scoop out the rest of my stuff, and now I'm going to just gently spread around my liquid all through the meal and let it seep into the noodles. Man, that's nice. All right, so guys, let's get it in the light, man. Let's get it in the light, man. I have crappy light in here. All right, so look at, man, I have really crappy light in here. Everything is, I have the light bulbs on and all the windows. Let's see if we can generate some more. There we go. I think that's going to be better. Yeah, I mean, you got to see it. So you'll notice I didn't have to add like salt and pepper and seasoning and all this. That's because this stuff is just going to speak on its own. It has all the herbs and everything in there from the Italian seasoning that was inside the can already. So the only thing I add is a little bit of Parmesan, and that's for personal flavor. You know, you could add a little bit of that, and that is good. So next, I'll show you what I already did, because it doesn't really matter. You don't have to do this on there. Last night we made some biscuits, so I have myself one of those, and I went out and got myself a tuna dragon. So let me put it all together and show you where I'm at here. Man, oh man. Oh, man, it just looks good. I just want to dive in. I want to dive in. I'm trying to balance my biscuit here. All right, so let's get you down here and show you what we're looking at. Man, that right there. Ooh, let's find out. Let's find out. I'm excited for the first bite because it's where I surprise myself half the time. Oh, man. So stoked this came out as good looking and ready. Oh man, if you like seafood. Oh. Now, if you just got yourself a can of the clam juice with the clams already in it, that Italian style, you can throw it over pasta, no problems. You don't have to get all the other stuff. Doing those little lobster type tails, with the crab meat and the mushroom, it just absolutely adds to everything. It just makes it even better. Well, that is divine. So, it reminds me of Rome when I was in Italy. Like, the pizza comes with clams on it. It's like everything. There's so much seafood in Rome. It's a peninsula. So, this right here tastes exactly like some of the dishes I had when I was in Italy. And I have to say, if you've ever been to Italy and you miss it, try this recipe that we just did. If you've never been to Italy and you're dying to go to Italy, try this recipe. It works out really good. But, I am going to go. Man, I'm going to go. That is so good. I'm going to go and sit and enjoy this. Now you guys know how to really, really easily make a very, very authentic tasting, authentic pretty much, Italian deal. The whole Italian meal. Delicious. All right, that's it for this one. Ooh, that's good. I am Donnie B all day. Till next video.